I don't know if they've ever been the Daily Special. Feels like in doing the show for over a year, they've been the Daily Special probably a handful of times. I just know they haven't been the Daily Special in a while.
Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
So we'll give a round of applause. Arizona State and their football program. Our top story here today. A matchup against Houston tomorrow, early evening, 5 o'clock kick. ASU, we talked about it yesterday, will be without star wide receiver Jordyn Tyson, meaning somebody is going to have to step up for the Arizona State Sun Devils to pick up another Big 12 win, to keep things rolling, to be 2-0 in the second half of the year, to continue a lot of what we saw this team do in the second half of last year, and more importantly, move one step closer to a patch of their schedule that we think is the rolling out of the red carpet for them to go back to a Big 12 championship. That's what's on the line tomorrow. Somebody is going to need to step up. Why can't it be the quarterback? That's where I want to start the Football Friday edition of the show with ASU's quarterback, Sam Leavitt. We have this conversation a lot when it comes to NFL quarterbacks. We have this conversation a lot when it comes to drafting quarterbacks in the first round. I use this analogy pretty regularly. You can either be a truck or you can be a trailer. The truck, somebody who makes the team around him better, who pulls that trailer along. And maybe despite its flaws, despite its age, despite maybe it wearing down a little bit, the truck is able to get the most out of that trailer. Think of what Tom Brady was able to do in New England. Tom Brady was a truck. Peyton Manning was a truck. Aaron Rodgers, a truck. Then you have quarterbacks who are trailers. They're great. They do the job. They can get it done. But they aren't going to be the thing that pushes the truck along. They need help. They can't do it all among themselves. I think right now, the quarterback that we have this conversation with, at least at the NFL level the most, is probably Jared Goff. Is he a truck? Is he a trailer? Was probably a trailer more in LA when they went on that Super Bowl run, got traded to Detroit. Now it feels like he's inching his way to being in the truck conversation. Are you a truck or are you a trailer? When I draft a quarterback in the first round, when I invest my most premium draft asset in a quarterback, I want a truck. I want the Tom Bradys, the Aaron Rodgers, the Peyton Mannings. I want the players, the quarterbacks that are going to get the most out of a group that maybe talent-wise isn't as talented as some other teams across the league. I need the quarterback that's going to elevate everybody else around him. So how does that tie into Sam Leavitt and ASU this weekend? Because we've talked about Sam Leavitt as a first-round quarterback. In the summertime, plenty of mock drafts projecting Sam Leavitt as a first-round quarterback. A producer of this program saying that there would only be maybe 2 or 3 quarterbacks that he would take in front of Sam Leavitt in the 2026 NFL draft. It has been a conversation. Yet at the start of this year, really up until this point, I haven't seen Sam Leavitt be a truck. I've seen Sam Leavitt more be a trailer. And here this week, tomorrow evening, 5 o'clock, under the lights of Mountain America Credit Union Stadium, Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe, an opportunity for Sam Leavitt, without his number one wide receiver, to show that he is a truck and not a trailer. Now, this isn't the biggest game that Sam Leavitt has played in his collegiate career. That game against Texas certainly comes to mind. But it is an opportunity. It is an opportunity tomorrow to step up in the absence of Jordyn Tyson at wide receiver to make everybody else around you better and to lead your team to victory. Tomorrow, if Sam Leavitt is a major reason why they're able to, without Jordyn Tyson, take care of business against Houston. They opened as 8-point favorites for this game. I don't know where things stand right now on the eve of this game, but they opened more than a touchdown favorite for a reason. If you can handle your business tomorrow in the absence of Jordyn Tyson and you are at the center of it, you have one of those type of performances that you had last year in the second half, that you had against Iowa State, that you had against Texas, that you had last week against Texas Tech. You have one of those performances without your best weapon. Boy, you do a lot for yourself when it comes to your draft stock. Boy, you do a lot for yourself in the truck versus trailer conversation because Sam Leavitt is still a relative unknown. So it is time for Sam Leavitt to step up and be a truck. It is time for Sam Leavitt to not be a trailer, to not just be a passerby, to not be a passenger. It is time for Sam Leavitt to grab the wheel and lead this team in a big way. And tomorrow is an opportunity. Now, producer Evan pulled some fantastic numbers in the morning meeting today that I want him to share with you because without Jordyn Tyson tomorrow, we talked about it yesterday. Who's going to step up? What's this going to look like? Well, we actually have some recent memory of how Sam Leavitt has performed without Jordyn Tyson. And they also happen to be probably the two biggest games that the Sun Devils played last year, the Big 12 championship game against Iowa State, the college football playoff performance against Texas. So the two biggest games the Sun Devils played in last season, they did it without Jordyn Tyson, and Sam Leavitt's numbers, they tell an interesting story.
Versus Iowa State, he only threw the ball 17 times, but he was 12 of 17 for 219 yards, 3 touchdowns, and had some damage on the ground with his legs as well. 7 carries for 33 yards and got in on the ground. 4 total touchdowns in that game for Sam Leavitt, threw 3, 1 on the ground. And then versus Texas, a very different story. Had to throw the ball quite a bit. 24 of 46, 222 yards, no touchdowns. The interception that ended up ending the game in overtime, but 13 carries and 60 yards. If you remember in that game, he did a lot with his legs.
Had to, right? Didn't have Tyson. Texas was taking a lot away in the passing game. The offensive line play wasn't great, was scrambling quite a bit just to gain anything positively on the offensive side of the ball. When I look at these two games, producer Evan, I see a mixed bag. I see somebody that was incredibly efficient against Iowa State. ASU was able to very early on dominate that game, and they run away and hid with the game in the second half. And I see a game against Texas where it was the opposite. They had to battle their way back into that game. They had to battle their way back into getting that game into overtime. So 2 examples of the Sun Devils being without Jordyn Tyson with Sam Leavitt under center, and it is a mixed bag. It is a small sample size. It is 2 games. But I don't know what version of Sam Leavitt we're going to get tomorrow. That's why I opened the show today by saying it is time for him to be a truck. It is time for me to see the Iowa State, if we had to pick between these 2 versions, the Iowa State version of Sam Leavitt. It is time for me to see the guy that isn't afraid to be a gunslinger, that isn't afraid to take chances, to take risks, to use his legs the way that he did in the Texas game, but to utilize his arm the way he did efficiently in the Iowa State game. And I think the game plan for this team tomorrow is going to be different. I think they're going to lean on the running game because it has been a strength for them this season. Houston's not necessarily great at stopping the run, but I also want Kenny and company to trust their quarterback. There's a reason they brought Sam Leavitt here. There's a reason why Sam Leavitt was able to do the things he was able to do in the second half of last year to put this team in a position to win a Big 12 title, to go to the college football playoff. It's a reason why, with Cam Scatterbo leaving to go into the draft, there was still thoughts that this Sun Devil team could make noise this year because of Sam Leavitt. Still waiting to see it. Hopefully tomorrow can be that game.
And you look back at that Iowa State game and extremely efficient, but Melquan Stovall, 4 catches, 91 yards. Malik McClain had the one big 40-yard grab. Cam Scatterbo had 2 grabs. He had a touchdown. Xavier Gilroy had 2 grabs. He had 2 touchdowns. So none of those guys at the top of the list, other than Malik McClain, who had the 1 catch, are on this roster again. How are you going to get new guys? Jaron Hamilton involved. He had a big game last week. How are you going to get Malik McClain involved, who feels like he hasn't been around all year long? Derek Eusebio, where's he been since the Baylor game, right? He had a couple big catches in that game, but haven't seen him since. So how are you going to get these other guys involved? Who are you going to go to on big third downs? Is it going to be a lot more Shimon Matera, or are we going to see another receiver enter the mix?
Hey, listen, not having the best receiver in all of college football right now is a huge blow. But I'm sorry, with the way we talked all summer long about Sam Leavitt, he should be able to elevate the players around him.
Yeah, and I think when you watch the Iowa State game, when you watch the Texas game, ASU didn't have anybody that's dominant on the outside like Jordyn Tyson is.
Well,
right?
There's not many players in the sport of football that are Jordyn Tyson.
No,
fair enough.
But you know what I mean? And he made plays with his legs. And look back at the Texas game. I encourage those to watch the second half or watch the highlights. he's running around like a crazy man back there and making plays that it feels like they don't have any business making.
He was talked about in the Heisman conversation on the fringes, but he was talked about. His name was invoked in the Heisman conversation. That's not just because Jordyn Tyson was his number one wide receiver. It was because Sam Leavitt is an extremely talented quarterback who has the potential to go be a first-round quarterback and be a franchise cornerstone player at that position at the next level. And I don't think it is a knock on Sam Leavitt to say, I haven't seen that from him this season. Started to see it last week against Texas Tech. This is a golden opportunity. Because can you imagine a world where we come in here on Monday and Sam Leavitt has a massive game without Jordyn Tyson? That's how you become a truck, not a trailer. That's how you put your name back on the map after it faded with the way the Sun Devils started this season. That's how you get yourself back into the conversation where scouts are coming to your games to watch you play. The potential is there for Sam Leavitt. We just haven't seen it enough. The one word that I would use to describe Sam Leavitt's tenure so far at ASU is inconsistent. The highs are really high, the lows are really troubling, and they're really low. Here is an opportunity against a Big 12 opponent in a very important game in the Sun Devil season for you to make a statement game without your number one wide receiver to say, I am not just a product of having the best receiver in football. I am not just a byproduct of having the player that's going to be the first wide receiver taken, potentially inside the top 4 of next year's draft. I am more than that. I am somebody on my own that can lead a program. I am somebody on my own that can win this football game tomorrow and keep ASU in the mix for the Big 12 title. That's the opportunity presented in front of Sam Leavitt tomorrow. And he is the type of player that can take advantage of it. So that's what I want to see. More so than just winning the football game. Obviously, that's priority number 1. But priority number 2 for me is I want to see Sam Leavitt have that game without Jordyn Tyson.
Yeah, and I just want to see him be efficient. Like, I can't remember a game, looking back at these numbers, 12 of 17 in the Iowa State game for 219 yards. Take the touchdowns out of it. Do you remember a game where he's been that efficient this year?
No, not at all. In fact, the efficiency has been an issue.
Right? Like, that's crazy efficient. And that Sam Leavitt has not appeared this year. And partially it's because of their ability to run the ball. You look at this game and you have Camp Scatterbo averaging over 10 yards a carry. So that does help in the passing game. But that kind of efficiency hasn't come out for Sam Leavitt yet. And something we saw them do so well last year. Let's see if they can do it this year and get other guys involved, please.
Priority number 1, win the football game, be 1-0 this week in the Big 12. But a subplot, and it's a major subplot for me, is this is the chance for Sam Leavitt to live up to all of the hype, all of the expectations around him this season. You win a Heisman Trophy, you get drafted in the first round, you're the number 1 overall pick. Think about quarterbacks that have been taken inside the top 5, inside the top 3 over the last couple of years. They all have those moments throughout their season. Not to say that Sam Leavitt's going to enter the draft this year anyway, but they have those moments. I'm waiting for Sam Leavitt to have that type of moment this year. Certainly, you could say last week moved him in the right direction. But now without Jordyn Tyson tomorrow in this game, this is a golden chance. So win the football game, priority number 1. But I'm paying very close attention to how well Sam Leavitt can play and if he can step up in this moment and be a truck, not a trailer.